Hi, this will be a short hip-focused strengthening flow. We will be on our knees kneeling a little bit, so if you would like to have a blanket or a pillow or some kind of knee pad for underneath your knees, I might suggest it for comfort. And my name is Sprink, and this is for Sweat Club. We will start laying down on our backs, so carefully kind of situate yourself around to lying down on your back. Definitely can use your blanket or your pillow as a pillow here as we get started. And as we settle in, I just want you to get as comfortable as you can with your feet flat on the floor and your knees up to the sky. So sometimes we start here flat on our backs, but today, since we're getting ready to work on the hips, let's focus on bringing the feet flat to start with the knees up to the sky. Just give yourself a second here to adjust to this new orientation to the ground and to gravity. Notice what kind of feelings are changing and shifting around in your body as you have more of it in contact with the ground, supported by your mat. And then start to pay attention to each place where your body is making contact either with the mat or your pillow. And I want you to think about just relaxing all around those points. We're going to work on a few rounds of big diaphragmatic breath, just always continuing to practice that. So try to release any tension you've got here in your belly. Just stay nice and relaxed. Think about breathing in through the nose, but also expanding down through the rib cage. So we kind of want you to imagine starting that breath right at the bottom of your rib cage. Press the breath down. That'll be your diaphragm pulling down. And see if you can feel your ribs press into the ground underneath you. So let's take a big breath in. And then nice, easy exhale for now. Let it all go. Let's do that again and just practice feeling the ribs press into the ground underneath you. We'll do two more. Big breath in, expand down and out. Easy exhale. One more time. Okay, we will start off with some of the work now. So walk your feet a little bit wider than your hips if they're not already. So almost so that the outside edges of your feet are touching the edges of your mat. Arms out to the side, palms up if you'd like. You can also be down for a little more help to press up. Take a deep breath in, just like we just practiced. And then exhale, press into your feet, lift your hips up off the ground, and hold this at the top. See if you feel the whole backside of your legs kind of light up as you support yourself up here, and then wiggle your toes a little bit. Keep your hips up. If you get a cramp like me, just lower down and stretch it out. We want to press back up, wiggle the toes some. Now we're going to continue to hold it up here while we take our knees in, and you kind of roll to the inside of the feet, and then take your knees out as wide as you can, rolling to the outside of the feet. Let's do this 3 times. So bring the knees in towards each other and out towards the outside. Feel that little glute med squeeze. Rock in. And press out. One more time. Rock in and rock out. Bring your feet flat to the ground. Slowly lower yourself back down. Hug your knees into your chest. We'll do that one more time. But first, take a little reset here. And so this time, pay attention to your feet. Yes, our knees will keep moving, but our feet are also moving to kind of let the knees move a little bit farther. So if our feet stayed flat on the ground, the knees wouldn't be able to go in or out quite as far, and we wouldn't get as much work through the hips. So as you press up this time, deep breath in, exhale, press up, send those knees in towards each other. Let the outsides of your feet kind of lift up off the mat. Then we'll go the opposite way. Roll the knees to the outside of the mat and roll onto the outsides of your feet. Big toes maybe come up off the ground. Roll it back in, knees in, and roll it back out, knees out. We'll do this 2 more times, nice and slow, really feeling those hip muscles working. In and out. 1 more time. In and out. Okay, bring your feet flat. Slowly lower yourself back down. Hug the knees to the chest. And we'll very carefully roll over to one side. Press yourself up and grab onto whatever you're using for a cushion underneath your knees. We're going to come to a half kneeling stance. So one knee will be on the ground, on whatever padding you have, and we're going to open up through the hips and take the opposite foot out perpendicular to this leg. So we've got a big hip opening happening here. This hip is working to keep us in hip extension right here, and the right hip is working to open up the right leg. All right? Get yourself situated here. We'll take a few deep breaths, really focus on squeezing the outside of the hips to keep you up. If you're not squeezing, then this hip kind of juts out a little bit. So press into this outside cheek to lift you up, keep your pelvis nice and stable. And then we don't want this right knee to come in, so press it out to the outside. 5 deep breaths. Maybe put your hands on your ribs. Feel that expansion. Try not to breathe into your neck. Good. Feel the breath. Kind of start to feel a little bit more work here in the glutes. 2 more rounds of breath. Last one. Okay, whichever knee is on the ground, so for me the left, we're going to take the left hand, or same side hand, reach it down so that we are in kind of a leaning shape here. Might intensify what you're feeling on that glute. You can rotate the far foot over, so you're in more of an extended leg position there. And now here's where the work comes in for this hip. We're going to lift the right foot or the far foot up off of the ground. You've got this hand here for support, and let's lift, press into the far foot heel. So you're going to lift it up, straighten through this heel, so really press into it, and that will help energize up your leg. Here we go, lift it up, press, hold for a couple breaths. Nice and straight, so try not to let it sag down. Really keep it lifted, trying to keep it parallel to the floor. 3, 2, 1. Come back down. Raise yourself up. We're going to do that one more time, but take a short little break here. Give those hips a rest. Okay, one more time. Deep breath in. And exhale, bring the left hand or the hand closest to the knee that's on the ground down to the floor. Extend the far foot and we'll lift it up off the ground. Try to hold here. Big squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And come down. Prop yourself back up and we'll switch sides. So this knee comes down. Opposite foot goes up and out to the side, nice and perpendicular. Remember to press into this hip of the knee that's down so that we're nice and steady and straight through the top. If I relax, this hip kind of juts out to the side. So engage the glutes, press the hips forward, and then we've got this left leg, the knees kind of pushing out because the glutes right here are squeezing it back. All right, 5 deep breaths from here. Focus that breath down and out. Good, 2 more. Last one. Okay, let's take the same side hand. So I've got my right leg down. My right hand's going to come down and out to the side. Got this supported little balance here. That far foot can extend out a little bit. Keep squeezing through the glute of the leg that's down so you're nice and supported. You don't want to relax or collapse down into it. So press up and forward. We'll hold this here. When you're ready, extended foot lifts. Press into the heel. Nice straight leg. 3, 2, 1. Bring it back down. Come up and out of that. Give your hip extensors a rest. And then we'll come back down into it and do it one more time. We'll try to hold it for 5. Okay? Ready? All right, here we go. So lean down into it. Hand of the leg that's down comes down to the mat. Extend the far foot. Press into the heel. When you're ready, we'll lift up. Keep the hips pressing forward. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Lift. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3. Keep that leg lifted. 2 and 1. Come on back down. Lift yourself up and take a few deep breaths. Okay, very good. Let's bring the knee down. We will press back to a child's pose just to take a couple of deep breaths. I also love child's pose. It's a great way to get back rib expansion that maybe you have trouble moving that rib cage if you're laying flat on your back. So take a couple of deep breaths into your back. Feel those back ribs stretch. And then we'll make our way to standing coming up next. So 2 more deep breaths. Last one. Okay, a couple options here to come to standing. Let's everyone come up through tabletop. If you'd like to take a downward facing dog, you may do so. Otherwise, step either foot up around the outside of a hand. Tuck the back toe, step the other foot around, and we'll stand up. If you want to go through downward facing dog, just tiptoe your way forward. All right? Next up, we're going to do a move called horse. Again, this is just when we open up and stretch through the inside hips, we strengthen the outside hip muscles. So that is what we're focusing on today. Take a nice wide stance through the feet, knees tracking out over the toes. Hands can come down to your thighs. Take a deep breath in, nice and tall through your spine, shoulders relaxed. And exhale, sink down into your horse pose as low as you can go. The hips are working to pull the knees back. If your inner thighs or inner hips are tight at all, you might feel a lot of sensation here. But let's try to hold this for about 3 deep breaths. Balance. 2, 3. On your next exhale, so big breath in. Press into your feet to raise you back up. Big glute squeeze at the top. We're going to do that 2 more times. So inhale. This time, let's reach the arms up. Exhale, come down. Hold here. Press those knees to the back. 3, 2, 1. Press up. 1 more time. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, pull down, elbows to ribs. Sink the hips down, press the knees back. Deep breaths. 3, 2, 1. Press back up. Walk your feet in, kind of shake the knees out. You guys feel that back here? Okay. Next up, we're going to do one side at a time, so let's try to stay together. Come to the top of your mat or the back of your mat, and then we're going to step the left foot back. So the left foot will step back and open up. Okay, so the left foot is perpendicular to the right front foot. Hips are open completely to the side of the mat. Bring your arms up parallel to the floor. Deep breath in, exhale, sink into the right leg in the front. Try to keep your shoulders stacked over your hips, and then gaze forward over that right hand. What we're working on here is this left hip is squeezing to press the left hip more towards the side of the mat, and your right hip is squeezing to bring the right knee more towards the right side of your mat. 5 deep breaths here. The lower you sink down, the more work it will be, so adjust yourself accordingly. 2 more deep breaths. Nice and tall through your torso. Try not to sink forward. Raise the shoulders up. Raise the head up. Last breath. Okay, press yourself up out of that lunge. Step your feet back together. We're going to focus on the right foot being down into the ground. So remember when we were kneeling, I told you to press your hips forward so that you don't collapse through your pelvis. We're going to do the same thing here with this tree pose. So the right foot is going to press strong into the ground to keep your hips up and parallel forward. If we're not pressing into it strong, this left hip kind of sags down towards the leg and the right hip pops up. So press into the ground strong, squeeze the glute back here, and we're going to lift the left foot up off of the ground. Here we go. Big squeeze on this right side glute. Lift the left foot up. Extra balance practice. 3, 2, 1. Keep this leg lifted and open it to the side. So now we're getting that left outside hip involved. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now for tree, bring the left foot in towards the leg. Try not to let it rest on your knee right here, so either down here on your calf, or if you're able to, up on your thigh. I'm keeping it on my calf today. Stand up tall through the right foot, and then press that left knee back. 5 deep breaths here. If you're a little bit wobbly, it's okay. Hands can be on your hips, which I like to do to feel the glutes working. If I start to get too relaxed, see how that hip kind of collapses down. So press strong into the standing foot and then pull the knee back with this glute back here. Hands on your booty. 3 more deep breaths. Last one. Okay, when you finish this exhale, let the left foot slide down. We've got one more pose to do with this right leg as the primary standing leg, and then we're going to compare sides. So we're coming back to a big step to the right with the right foot. So we're nice and perpendicular. Right foot faces the front or the back of the mat. Left foot is facing the side of the mat. Let's scoot this way a little bit. We are going to work into a half moon. So this is a big, big balancing pose. If you're close to a wall and you want to scoot back to it to help you balance, definitely a good option. I will even do that today. So right foot is pressing strong into the ground. We're going to tip forward, open up through the hips, and press strong into the right foot so we don't get the collapsing hips. Arms open up. You're open as wide as you can. Press into the heels. So we really prepped for this in that kneeling pose. And now instead of this right knee being down, we've got our right foot to the ground. 3 deep breaths. I am definitely leaning into the wall, so if you need some support, that is great. If you don't have a wall, you will get a lot of extra balance practice. One more big breath. When you finish this exhale, let the left foot come back down and relax. Walk back onto your mat. Okay, hands on your booty. See if you can feel a difference between the right and left side. You may feel more open through one hip here. You may feel a little more burn through either glute in the back. Just notice there's not a correct answer. We are going to do the same sequence of 3 on the opposite side. So let's step the left foot open. We're going to lunge into this left leg. Right foot, toes are facing the side of the mat. Arms up in parallel. Here comes a warrior 2. So nice and tall through your spine. Big expansion down here through the ribs. Deep breath in. Exhale, ease into that lunge. We're here for 5 breaths, remember. Left foot, the left knee is pushing back towards the side of the mat. And then the right foot is pushing into the ground to get this right hip forward. So both hips working. Gaze is forward over the left hand. Keep taking as deep of a breath as you can. Last one, sink a little bit lower if you want to. Keep pressing towards the sides of the mat. Once you're done with that exhale, press the front knee straight and step your feet in towards each other. Okay, nice little warm up before we hit tree pose here. So now we're onto the left side. Left foot's going to plant strong into the ground. Remember, we don't want any collapsing pelvises. Press into the foot. Nice and strong, parallel pelvis, both hip pointers forward. All right, here we go. Lift the right knee up off the ground. Keep pressing into this so your glute is squeezing back here. If I relax, then it juts out to the side. Okay, so press in strong. Right hip is lifted up off of the left leg. And we're holding here for balance, about 5 counts. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Let's take this right knee, open it up to the side. Keep pressing strong into the left foot. So you keep the right hip up off of the left leg. 5 counts. Big, big push back with the right knee. Feel the squeeze on the right glute. 3, 2, 1. Bring the right foot in towards the left leg, on the calf or on the thigh, not directly on the knee. Keep standing up tall. So it's okay if you have to remind yourself, push strong into the left foot and to the ground. 5 breaths. I'm a very wobbly tree today. Okay. Hips pressing forward, squeeze the glutes. 3, 2, 1. When you finish your next exhale, slowly let the right foot come back down to the ground. Shake the legs out some. Okay, it's time for half moon again. So if you had that wall, go ahead and come towards it. We're going to rotate the left toes to face towards the left. Right foot steps back a little bit. Toes are facing towards the side. And we're going to launch onto the left leg. You ready? Almost like a cartwheel. 3, 2, 1. Press forward onto the left leg. Foot is strong in the ground. You're opening your hips up. Lean on down. It's just a slight lean into the wall. My foot is maybe 6 to 10 inches away from the wall. So a little bit of a lean back. Very, very supported. Floating leg is strong, just like we practiced from kneeling. Press into the heel of the right foot. Squeeze through the booty here. 5 more breaths. If you don't have a wall, it is 100% harder. So if you are kind of all over the place, that is okay. You're working on balance a little more than those of us using a wall for support. 2 more deep breaths. Okay, very slowly start to bend through the left knee, bring the right foot back down towards the ground, and walk it forward. Take a moment to pause and feel if the sides feel a little bit more even. See if you're able to kind of squeeze those glute medius in the back, the booty muscles. Now that they've been working, you might feel a little bit more brain-body connection to them. We're going to end with our Savasana Pose. If you'd like to lie down, please do so, or we can do it standing. So I'm going to stay standing up. If you would be more relaxed sitting down, please sit down or lay down. You can also come back to your wall and just kind of lean against it. But for standing purposes, I want us to kind of hug around our rib cage so we can feel that expansion. We're going to end with 3 big working breaths. Inhale through the nose, feel that rib cage expand. Nice, easy, relaxed exhale. 2 more times. Last one. And exhale. Okay, relax your hands, relax your breathing so that you're not thinking about any kind of forced breath. You are just easy, without a thought, breathing in and out. Let's bring your hands to your hips, either directly to the outside or right on those booties. Kind of feel with your hands the muscle that was worked and used today. Know that you did something great for your pelvic health, whether you are a runner working on stabilizing your pelvis, whether you are recently postpartum and you are working to get some hip stability back. This work that you did today is very beneficial to you and your hips and your muscles. And so just give yourself some appreciation for carving out the time to do this and to take care of yourself. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for being here.